Hello, everybody. I'm back with vlog number 18. I think that's what it is. And today we are back to do some more movie goals and catching up with that. So, um, let's start off with the first question, which should be asked: what is the plot of a movie? From continuing on from the last movie, because we let me start back over. Okay. Hey everybody, I'm back. This is vlog 18, and today we are doing another movie goal or goal movie goal. Sounds better. In the last one, we talked about what a movie is, what it consists of, what kind of genres there are of movies. And I said that I was going to choose between horror, romance, and comedy. Um, and comedy as in haha, not as in death at the end of the movie. Let's jump into what a plot is. The plot is what makes up the whole reason for doing the movie, right? What is the chunk, what is the meal of the movie? That the whole reason that this is happening, right? So usually people use plot and story as the same thing, but there is a difference. So let's find out what that difference is. Let me show you on the screen. Plot versus story. What's the difference between plot and story? By Masterclass. What is a plot? The plot of a book or film or play is the series of events that unfolds from start to finish. The plot explains not just what happens, but also the causality, how one event leads to another. In Poetics, Aristotle identified the basic form of a plot as containing three parts: a beginning, a middle, and an end. So, what is a story? A story is a complete narrative. It contains the plot as well as other literary devices such as character development, settings, and themes. A story includes the point of view, which is the perspective from which the story unfolds. Who is telling the story? Is it from a point of view of one of the characters? Is it a point of view from the omniscient narrator? A story may also include a lesson or philosophy. A good story helps the reader feel emotion and care about action. A short story usually has a single plot, but a novel or series may contain multiple plots or subplots. What is the difference between a plot and a story? I mean, we kind of just said it, right? A plot is the beginning, middle, and end. A story contains the plot along with points of view. A story is the entirety of the experience. A plot is the sequence of events within a story, a description of what happens and why it happens. A story is a comprehensive narrative. Plot is a part of the story, but a story also includes settings, characters, themes, and other factors that influence how the events are told. While a plot is chronological, a story may unfold non-sequentially, combining this action with sections that focus on character development, philosophy, or building atmosphere and setting. So, when I was in school and I took English class, right? And I had a definition just like this, right? And I was told to to make a story between a plot or to make a plot and make a story, right? And for me, I could not tell the difference between what a plot and a story was because of this last sentence right here. Um, while a plot is chronological, a story may unfold non-sequentially, combining the action with sections that focus on character development, philosophy, building, atmosphere, and settings. Up here made sense, but as soon as they added this, it kind of said to me that the story and the plot are the same thing. And so what I did is I wrote two stories. That's not that's not what we wanted. I'd want like everything in the story, whereas in the plot, I would just want the reason why he's doing what he's doing, not from his point of view, but just I'd want to know what is the purpose of the story. The plot would be the main character's like quest and why he's doing the quest. Now that we know what the difference is between a plot and a story and what a plot is, we can better make a story or a plot. We can actually make a plot in a story, so this way we can do a movie. Um, and now let's move on to characters. What are characters in a movie? It's kind of let's go with the base kind of character understanding. What is a character? So this is basically the man, the person, the woman, the anything that is not anything, but any person or animal or um, it's basically what the story revolves around, right? Um, there are main characters and then there are side characters. So the main character is the person the whole story revolves around, um, and that's generally uh, they have a description, or in books they have a description of who it is and what they look like and how they act and how they talk and who they like and who they don't like. It's basically you and me. That's what a character is. Main character, I should say. Not to say that we should suffer from main character syndrome, because there are plenty of side characters out there, and I am one of them. So a side character is somebody that you bump along with, or that helps that you that the main character bumps along into, or that journeys with them on their quest, um, and they usually will either help the story along or just kind of uh, add more to the story. Um, Usually there's like a sidekick. Yeah, there's a sidekick to the main character. Um, so the main character gets, I think it's one or two extra characters that that they basically interact with through most of the story or most of the movie, and it's their other half that makes the story more amusing or more more entertaining. There we go. Now, with that being said, let's look at the top 5 characters that are in movies. There is the protagonist, the main character, undoubtedly the most crucial type of movie characters in a story. The protagonist is a fancy word for main character. Conventionally, we meet the protagonist, aka the star of the story, at the beginning of the story, and follow them through a series of trials and tribulations before leaving them in a new form at the end of the story. And this is something that we do have to include inside of every story. Usually, at the beginning of every story, the character has some flaws or um, things that are wrong, that they feel are wrong, and they go through the story. And at the end of the story, they find a resolution, or they're changed in some way for the better or worse, depending on which kind of movie it is. we're gonna go to the antagonist. That's the next, the, the other half of the story, the other character, right? The antagonist is the opposition character, or the bad guy, or the person that's just kind of pushing against them in some kind of way. While the protagonist pushes one way, the antagonist pushes another. They are the oppositional force in the story, doing everything in their power to make sure the protagonist fails and that they succeed. This type of movie character, the antagonist, isn't necessarily a villain either. They simply believe something different than the protagonist. The key to writing a good antagonist is to remember that this cuts both ways. They see themselves as the protagonist and the true protagonist as the antagonist. The next one is the deuteragonist. Now this is the sidekick. This is the secondary character. The deuteragonist is a character that the script isn't focused on, but they still play a big part in the story and often support the main character. Often they're a friend or ally of the protagonist who offers a differing perspective on the story's events. They aren't usually flat characters, but they're deeply developed. And they do have, um, I already forgot what his name is right now. It's not Bilbo Baggins. Sam. It's Sam. Sam is the deuteragonist. Then we have the mentor character, who is usually the wizened elder, or the person that's teaching the main character what they need to know. So um, the mentor is etched into some of the humanity's oldest storytelling traditions for a good reason. In an age of oral tradition, the only way for knowledge to be passed was for elders to share their experiences with a younger generation. The mentor character can also be a deuteragonist or sometimes an antagonist, but rarely a protagonist. The mentor has come to the end of their journey and usually at a state of self-actualization, a place the protagonist hasn't gotten yet. It is the mentor's job to set the protagonist on the path towards thematic revelation and offer sage advice when needed. That's an awesome character. It's not in every single um, movie or story, but it's pretty good. Pretty good character. And then the romantic interest character, of course, the person the protagonist falls in love with, or maybe that they don't realize that they're in love with. Last but not least, we have a romantic interest. This character type has more complicated history than the rest. Film history is littered with lazily written romantic interests who exist purely for the pleasure of the usually male protagonist for sex appeal. There's nothing inherently wrong with that either. It's more than it's more that it's a symptom of lazy writing. Damn. Unlike the mentor or friend style deuteragonist, a romantic interest is uniquely capable of getting underneath the protagonist's skin and revealing their emotional side. That's pretty good. Pretty good way of describing that. So that is the 5 main characters in a story, or movie, I should say, in a movie. Okay, we're going to go on to our last question now. Um, what genre did I pick? So I believe I have made a choice on what kind of genre that I wanted to go for. Um, Horror would be so fun to do. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll have what I want um, to make a horror. Uh, it seems like it's a lot of work. And um, I think romance would be really fun to do, but again, it requires things that I don't have. So I'm left with the third option. That's going to be comedy. And what better way to do a comedy than with a friend as a side character? a deuteragonist. So I think I'll start writing the script very soon. Um, and now that I have a genre that I'm going to be going for, I know what kind of movie, what a movie is, how long it needs to be, and I know the characters that I'm going to have to work with. Um, and I know what a plot and a story is. I think I have like the basis of what, like the base starting point of where I can start a movie. I think the next movie goal video that I'm going to have is going to be detail oriented. So, um, a lot of angles and like what I'm going to be doing. But this was just basically the script. This was just the script of the movie. Um, I think that's pretty good. So, uh, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something today. If you did, let me know down in the comments below. Tell me your favorite part of what we talked about today. And if you have any pointers or if you would like to know more about the movie, let me know that in the comments down below too. All right. So if you want to see more of me, I do have all my links down below in the description to everything else I'm connected to. If you are willing to join into a Smule acting or singing, you can download the app and then join me, the Valley Viking, and act with me or do. Sorry, it's a lot to say. You can act with me or sing with me if you want to. So thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.